Victor Hugo's masterpiece, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, has been adapted for film and stage many times. While the version of the stage musical production opening this Friday at Milwaukee's Skylight Music Theater is like no Hunchback you've experienced before, the name, face, and especially voice of the person who penned the music and story will no doubt be familiar, especially to people in Wisconsin, a place where he's performed more often than any other state outside of his home of Illinois. Our Sunday morning spotlight is shining on a collaboration almost 3 decades in the making between the Skylight's artistic director and one of his childhood rock and roll idols. You may not know the melody.
Who will love this child?
Or the lyrics.
When others turn.
But chances are you've heard the voice, one of rock's most recognizable for the past 50 years.
Turn darkness into light.
These words and melody, however, will never reach a rock stage. They were written for musical theater nearly 30 years ago to retell a romantic tale of love, lust, and obsession, published in 1831.
We will open. Curtain up! Dennis DeYoung's The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
When Michael Unger unveiled the lineup of his inaugural season as Skylight Music Theater's artistic director in February of 2020,
ladies and gentlemen, Styx's Dennis DeYoung.
a surprise guest was there to serenade the audience.
Babe, I'm leaving. I must be on my way.
A gathering of 200 Skylight supporters who joined him in a sing-along. Come Sail Away, Babe, The Best of Times, and Lady, just some of the top 10 hits from former lead singer and songwriter for the rock band Styx, Dennis DeYoung.
How many people have never seen me live before in their entire life? Never. Where the hell you been? I'm stepping into it.
Not long after this memorable night, DeYoung's Wisconsin premiere of Hunchback was postponed by the pandemic.
My friend Dennis DeYoung.
Now, 2 years later, this lifelong Chicagoan is back in the Badger State.
And he said, here's a Wisconsin sweatshirt. I said, thank you, Dennis DeYoung.
Oh, fantastic.
On Wisconsin, on to Old Perry.
And on to staging a production set in 15th century Paris, a musical Michael Unger calls his dream project.
So I'm very happy to be at this moment and finally doing the show that I've literally been chasing for 28 years.
This friendship was forged 28 years ago during a chance meeting between the two artists outside Chicago's Steppenwolf Theater.
I'm like, are you Dennis DeYoung? And he said,
Yes.
yes, I am. I said, oh my God, I'm a huge Styx fan, and it's just so nice, so great to meet you.
DeYoung later invited Unger to his home studio to hear the music he'd written for Hunchback.
He proceeds to sing the entire score for me single-handedly with that glorious voice of his.
What will I do? How can I carry on?
That Styx voice that just is so, ingrained in my head, and I just fell in love at first here.
It's easy between us. We have similar senses of humor. We come from the same area. He was richer. But we're a great team because we complement each other, and we're both willing to listen to the other's ideas.
DeYoung's Hunchback is a newly revised version of the production he first brought to the stage in 1996, and in 2008 earned a Joseph Jefferson Award for Best Musical in Chicago. Of the Hunchback music that you wrote, do you have a favorite?
I don't know, the song Esmeralda that I wrote. I don't know, it makes me weepy.
Esmeralda, let me be your guardian angel.
It seems and sounds like a song that has lasting power.
Making her theatrical debut as Esmeralda is Alana Sofia, an American Idol Top 16 contestant.
Echoing through every rafter.
Opera, pop, Broadway, and jazz singer Ben Gully is Quasimodo. And Frollo is played by Kevin Anderson, a Tony-nominated veteran of stage, screen, and TV.
Who will care for an orphan in the rain who'll be there?
Powerful music, powerful dialogue, and a powerhouse cast, too.
The cast is amazing.
And so is the venue where the cast of 21 will perform. The Cabot Theater is a replication of an 18th century French opera house.
I remember when Dennis first walked into this space, he looked around and said, wow, the show would be perfect here.
I just want this. You can't not do it. Because when you come in, you go, hey, not a bad seat in the joint. Right on top in Latin, it says, go Pack.
More a Bears than Packers fan, DeYoung's rooting interest in musical theater is also clear. While his drive to move Styx in a theatrical direction was one of the reasons that led to his split from the band, it did open new career doors. DeYoung released a studio album of Broadway songs after starring as Pontius Pilate in the 20th anniversary revival tour of Jesus Christ Superstar in 1993.
As I've told Michael, there's a moment in all the great shows where you're sitting in the audience where the music, the book, everything, the acting, the lights, all comes together in the moment. You can't duplicate it in a rock concert or anything else. It is the dispensation of belief, and suddenly you are part of that illusion that's being created.
Mm-hmm. The grand illusion.
See what he did there?
Welcome to the grand illusion.
One of rock's iconic vocalists will be inducted into the Illinois Rock and Roll Hall of Fame next month. Not as a singer, but as a songwriter.
It's about writing songs, baby. Songs are king. Always have been, always will be. Write a great song, people will show up for the party.
And beginning Friday, people will show up for a party 28 years in the making. Not to hear this melody man sing, but to watch others perform some of Dennis DeYoung's personal greatest hits.
When I hear Babe or Lady, Come Sail Away, Mr. Roboto, whatever Styx song that I wrote, I know how I did that, Mike. I know I wrote that. When I listen to this score, I think someone smarter and more talented than me snuck in the room and did it.
You've said before that this remains, for me, my greatest accomplishments as a songwriter.
Unquestionably. There's no doubt about it. It still feels like it's so far above my own talents and skills that I can sit
Who will love this child?
and listen to it and go, well, I did that.
This child.
I may never do it again, but there it is.
This child.